early part of the game who were helping Real Madrid not to stop Arsenal from sending the ball into the midfield were Mbappe and Vinicius, because they were, if like, shadowing the two midfielders in Lewis Kelly and Partey. But the moment they started realizing that, Charlie, the ball no they come through our midfielders, so let's find spaces in pockets, let's move to the wide areas, they lost their discipline off the ball, right? Because naturally that's not what they do. Because now they're looking, so Vinicius started going wide, Mbappe started dropping deep to pick the ball, so we saw him dropping deep to try and influence the game. Vinicius started going wide to take on Timber. But anytime Arsenal then had the ball, Mbappe is not coming back to cover shadow Partey or Lewis Kelly, and Vini the same. Then Arsenal started having the freedom to progress the ball through the middle and finding Bukayo Saka and what have you. So for me, I think the 4-4-2 that Carlo Ancelotti picked didn't necessarily work, but the industry and ability of the Arsenal players, and what made it even worse for Modric and Camavinga was this: Merino, who was the center forward, was dropping deep. So virtually the deepest midfielders of Arsenal, of Real Madrid, were playing against three advanced midfielders of Arsenal: Odegaard, Merino, and Declan Rice.
In fact,
and Lewis Kelly would also.
Yeah, in fact, it was a 5 against 2.
Can I get closer
because
to the microphone? Get closer to me.
It was a 5 against 2, especially when you talk about the Mbappe and Vinicius neglecting their work. So now Partey, Rice, Partey, Skelly, then Rice, Merino, and Odegaard. So they had surrounded
Camavinga and Rodrigo and Bellingham were wide of them. So whereas the Arsenal 5 midfielders are around the Real Madrid 2 central midfielders, Rodrigo and Bellingham are outside the 5. So we saw Arsenal completely have the control and the comfort in the middle of the park. But Danny said it. This is how Real Madrid have done it for so many years. They won't dominate games. They will wait for the moments. But in this game, Arsenal had those moments, which were magical. And if you're going to beat Madrid by this scoreline, you need something really special. And those 2 goals from Rice were special. Like, he won't do it again. On your view. He won't see if Arsenal gets a free card at Bernabeu, somebody else should try it. See, he will play the ball into the stands. He won't do it again. Look,
well, he had never scored a free kick.
There are some things that is once in the life. If I were Rice, I won't play free kick again.
He finished.
Bro,
don't try it again.
They were too perfect. They were the 2 free kicks. Look, if he
doesn't attempt any free kick till he retires,
he's a legend.
He has the best free kick conversion ratio,
bro.
In the history
the guy hits, and he had to be perfect on the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was. And for me, and then he mentioned it, it wasn't necessarily as if Arsenal were dominating Real Madrid and were knocking and creating problems. But as soon as the first free kick hit the back of the net, something changed. Real Madrid now were like, no, we can't wait for the moment. We have to find the moment. And within that period, a matured Arsenal team came to the fore. You see, the Arsenal team under Arteta has gone through some cycles. They've been maturing. Unfortunately for them, they've not been winning the big things. But we've seen the mentality shifts. We've seen their growth. Arsenal used to be baby, so we used to tease them like anybody could bully them. Like Eden Hazard go fit train and they fall
They used to lose the League Cup finals to Birmingham.
Bro, but this is a matured Arsenal team, because when Real Madrid wanted to force the issue, Arsenal knew that they had to take control of the game and take this thing out of the game.
And they could do it.
And they did it. So between the first free kick and then even the second free kick, Arsenal almost killed Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like, between that period, the game could have been 4-0. Goal line clearances, Courtois having to make saves, some, block of shots and what have you. Because within that period, when Real Madrid wanted to be proactive and enforce the matters, Arsenal were like, okay, we will pass the ball around you, we will be calm, and they will do it. But a lot of teams will do this. When Real Madrid are trying to force the matters, they will start defending.
Yeah.
They will start kicking the ball long. But what Arsenal did was, we will take control of the ball, we'll pass around, we will find the spaces.
You won't have the momentum.
You won't have the momentum. Because you can't have momentum without the ball. Yeah. Then the ball hits the back of the net from the second free kick. And the Real Madrid are in different places. Then the third goal. Look, I think Declan Rice's 2 free kicks are taking a shine out of the Merino goal. But that goal, the build up and then the finish. Yeah. But Arsenal won't buy a striker next season. Ateta will buy another big centre back.
He said,
because if Mourinho go fit do this thing, why spend 90 million on a striker? I mean, that's just by the way. But that was a very good finish, and it was a blessing in disguise. Arsenal didn't have a striker because of the job Mourinho did.
Yeah.
Because of the job Mourinho did, and that's why in the first half, anytime they would cross the bar across the face of goal, he was arriving late because he would have dropped deep to commit the midfielders
in the build-up.
In the build-up, and he wouldn't arrive early. But in the end, they won by 3-0. And massive credit to them. I thought Carlo Ancelotti got it wrong with setting up with that 4-4-2.
We'll come to
and
Ancelotti
credit to
because
Arteta.
someone has to explain why up until now we have not seen Jude Bellingham playing in his natural central midfield position or any role that he previously was known for, and what else Madrid could have done differently. But this show is probably brought to you by Petrosol and Betway. Look, we've all been there. You've placed the perfect multi-bet and it's all going your way until it's not. And one or more picks let you down. This one, last night it happened. Last night in the Europa League, Man United versus Olympic Lyon. Andre Onana. Everyone thought, Charlie, the slip. And you see, the thing about last night was that those who went for Chelsea first half goal, he cast. Chelsea didn't score that first half goal. Those who went for the Lazio win or Lazio goal, it didn't happen.
Charlie.
Athletic Bilbao, they fired blanks. So, United were like the only team giving people hope.
Until Onana.
Betway says, if this was your story, their bet saver feature allows you to win even if your bet misses. Even on multiple losses like last night. Chelsea first half, no show, Bilbao, Lazio. Even on multiple losses like that, you can get your bet back and more. Bet saver is exclusive to Betway. Get way more. Terms and conditions apply. It is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Now, you know that soothing feeling that you feel deep in your skin and all over your body when you shower with a soap that truly protects you. That peace of mind, that clean, hygienic, and protected feeling that allows you to go out and face the world without fear of any germs that cause skin diseases. Well, that is Lifebuoy Carbolic. Lifebuoy Carbolic, popularly known as the Guardian soap, is that soap that has protected you and your family for... Hey, Charlie. After all these years, until today, I didn't know that what we've been calling Guardian soap is Lifebuoy Carbolic. And today, we want to hear from you and reward you for your loyalty. So maybe after a while, you moved on because levels don't change. We know Bokra, actually. We know no one does it better than Lifebuoy. So we did for you. Today, we're going back down the memory lane. Some lucky callers will have the opportunity to answer a few questions and take home some lovely prizes. So pick up your phone when the lines open and let's get interactive. And remember to stay always protected with Lifebuoy. Now, the month of April brings more exciting news. It is the month of big wins for the Petrosol Energizing Dreams promo. So mark your calendars for the last 3 thrilling draws in April. Now, last monthly draw in April is happening today at the Petrosol Polygu service station along the Bolga Tamale Road in the Upper East region. In the Northern Sector Grand Finale, that's happening on the 16th of April at the Petrosol Bamahu Wa service station, also in the Upper West region. Then you've got the Southern Sector Grand Finale on April 29 at the Petrosol Spintech service station right here in Accra. You could be driving home a brand new Suzuki Espresso this April, and that's why you need to stay updated on our social media handles and get ready for the ultimate climax. Petrosol's Energizing Dreams promo. Terms and conditions apply. Petrosol Energizing Dreams. Now, yesterday we launched the Road to Hits FM Rep Your Jersey show on Hits FM at 3 p.m. Just as a precursor to what's to come on the 31st of May when we bring you the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey 2025 at the Aviation Social Center. That's where the final of the Champions League game will be watched by the entire country. Everybody's coming there, right? And we do know that if your team doesn't even win, you want to be part of that celebration of football at the Aviation Social Center as we climax the Champions League in grand style with some Jama wash and field contests, the sports quiz, the five-a-side soccer, the Champions League anthem, and many other exciting games that we will be having at the Aviation Social Center. So do well to join us for that one and mark your calendars for that event. Remember, it is proudly brought to you by the Joy Sports team and Joy Prime, and sponsored by SoccerBet, your best bets for sports betting. TCL, Inspire Greatness. DSTV, feel every moment. It's 22 minutes gone past 2 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM. This is Game Plan. My name is Victor Achutama. And Daniel, let's continue the conversation on the Real Madrid side of things.
China. The question is...
Sorry about that. On the Real Madrid side of things. Now...
This guy.
I have no idea where that came from. But Ancelotti, he said quite a bit about... In fact, the last month has been Ancelotti playing politics, which is very unusual of him. But it says a lot about where he is and the pressure that is coming about his job security. The last time he says the only person he cares about is Florentino Perez and his assessment. On Tuesday, Daniel saw the lineup and said that he thought... So let me start with you, Daniel, on that one. Why did you think the lineup alone was the determining factor in Real Madrid's defeat?
For me, it was the midfield battle I was looking at.
Right.
Madrid, in terms of technical ability, the ability to control the ball, control certain moments. The absence of Ceballos has been a huge hit. I don't think they have a player who is in the mold. So I knew Modric would start, but I wanted to know who would start alongside Modric, whether it would be a midfield 2 or a 3. And when I saw Valverde playing at right back, from the lineup, he was going to play at right back, and it was going to be only Modric and Camavinga in the middle. I knew that they would not be able to match up to Partey's control, Rice, Luis Kelly coming in. And that just gave me the idea that if Arsenal were going to control and dominate, Madrid were going to have to submit. And another thing too was seeing Alaba at left back.
Yeah.
I think it was a very, very poor decision by Ancelotti.
One at a time. We'll come to the Alaba bit. What you've just explained about the profiles and the lack of it with respect to a midfield controller or a thinker sort of that they were missing in Dani Ceballos. Is it not possible that Ancelotti knew that and was trying to compensate with something else that we perhaps have not made our minds to in his selection of that combination, especially in the decision to still commit Valverde to the right back position?
Look, the thing is, this is not the first time we are going to see Arsenal play. This is not the first time you know what Arsenal is going to do.
Yeah.
You know the type of midfield, and Arteta has been doing this since the Zinchenko thing.
Yeah.
Left back coming into midfield, then having an extra midfielder bump forward, essentially creating a box. This time around, he doesn't have a standing number 9, so the Merino also drops in, and we've been seeing it time and time again. So you know that, and if you look at the players who would form that circle or is it a pentagon around the whatever midfield combination that the opposition has, it's full of technically gifted players. Partey, when he picks up the ball under pressure, can pick out a pass. Luis Kelly, not necessarily the level of Partey, but Skelly has the ability to dribble within tight spaces. We've seen it in the Premier, even the biggest games against Manchester City. We saw it. When he's under pressure, he can pick it up, dribble through 1 or 2 players before finding space and picking a pass. Rice is good at that. Merino is a natural midfielder, so we know. Odegaard is brilliant at that. So you need to, first of all, if you are playing a team like that, you need some energy. And I thought that Valverde would play in midfield in addition to whoever would
so Camavinga
pair.
In this case.
Yeah, as for Modric, I knew he had to be a must because they needed that player where when under pressure can take the steam out of the game. Very important in Champions League games. But I thought they needed an additional midfielder, or even if they didn't have an additional midfielder, I thought that Valverde would do a better job alongside Modric than Camavinga would do. Yeah. And also because of the shape of that in terms shape and personnel in terms of the defense and the midfield. In terms of, I'm talking about who would do a better job at what position and where you would need a certain player more than another. So I thought, yes, you need to be able to handle Martinelli on that side. He's a danger. But Asensio has pace. We've seen it. Asensio is quick. He's a very good tackler. In fact, he looks like he's been this Madrid team for a very long time. And I didn't think that Martinelli was that much of a threat in terms of what Arsenal would do than what was happening in the middle of the park. So get Asensio
at right back.
And then the left back,
Alaba and then Rudiger.
Because look, Alaba has lost his legs. He's not as quick. And the way Arsenal play, the isolation they have with their wide men, with the way Saka plays, he will always have his defender one-on-one. So you need a very good one-on-one defender. And for me, if Camavinga had played left back, I think he would have done a much better job. He's quick, he has the energy. If Saka beats him, he can recover. But with Alaba, once he's gone, he's gone. And that for me, that was always going to be a problem. I felt also that if the way Saka dribbles and he dribbles inside, if he's coming in to the middle of the park,
he's running into traffic.
You see, that is an area where Camavinga is used to. So if he dribbles Camavinga inside and he's coming into midfield, Camavinga is more suited to dealing with that problem than Alaba because of the pace, the familiarity with the position, and then the energy to recover. So I just thought the placement of the personnel, they had the right guys on the field, but as to where they were playing and the positions they were playing, for me, it was an issue for me.
Okay. Sichu,
yeah.
So Daniel has hinted a part of it on the decision not to play Valverde in midfield and the decision to play Camavinga in midfield, Alaba out on the left. Is there any world where what Ancelotti started with and even how he managed the game made sense?
He's Carlo, so it's impossible for me to say it didn't make sense, but it didn't work. I'll say it didn't work.
Yeah.
Truly, when I saw the 4-4-2, I thought it was going to be a problem. And then he mentioned, we know how Arsenal are going to play. And when Mikel Merino has played against teams that have got, a bit of quality about them, we know what he does. He's going to drop deep. Bukayo Saka is back. We know what he does. And a good thing is, if Mikel Merino is dropping deep, he pushes Odegaard wide. So he can go and combine with Saka. And the two of them, when they combine, it's most often to great effect. So I was surprised that Carlo chose the team that he chose. And I agree with Danny in many things that he said. That I would play Asensio right back. I'll play Camavinga left back, and I'll keep Alaba and Rudiger in defense. And maybe, just maybe, I'm not starting Rodrigo away from home. It's over 2 legs. So I'm playing an extra midfielder who works very hard.
So what's your midfield base?
And Valverde, Modric, Bellingham, and then Brahim Diaz, who can play very central and attack. Because I like Brahim Diaz because he can start from central and operate wide. So if you want to play Vinicius Junior and Mbappe up front, and Tchouaméni is injured, Ceballos is not there, the one player who can also give you a job in midfield because he works very hard off the ball, and when he has the ball, he can run with it really well. He's got goals in him as well. Could be Brahim Diaz, because when you ask Rodrigo to be doing the job in the middle of the park, that is not his game. So the whole game, we didn't see his effects, and that wasn't his fault. That was only because, and we didn't even see Jude Bellingham enough because he was asked to play wide, and it wasn't to any effect or whatsoever. So I thought Carlo maybe then didn't necessarily get it right on the day, and he more than anybody would have known that, and he would rectify it. Luckily for him, Tchouaméni is back into the middle of the park in Madrid, so that gives him another look into what he could do with the squad. Unfortunately, Camavinga, who we are all saying could have played at left back, is suspended because of that silly red card that he got himself at the end of the game.
Who do you start?
But as Mendy is coming.
Mendy was injured. I don't know the extent of the injury. Because Tchouaméni is suspended, so he's back. Yeah. But Mendy had an injury. I don't know the extent of the injury. I'm not sure if he's back.
As well. The word is that he may be in the squad for the Alaves game.
Yeah.
If he does,
that's a huge boost. Yeah, that's a huge boost for them.
Is it over?
No, it's not. It's not.
What do you mean?
It's not.
What do you mean?
You go bed where you think.
Charlie.
What do you mean by so?
Charlie. Yesterday when I was going to bed, then I closed my eyes more. Then I saw Mbappe score in the second minute. That opened my eye. I didn't want to sleep again.
Are you sure you're not confusing the Alaves game for the?
No, look. The reason
because both teams start with E. It could well be that you saw Alaves.
The reason why I think that it's not over is because it's Real Madrid, and the reason I say is because they've done it over and over again. So I'll give them that. The reason why I think it's tough is that Arsenal across Europe, they are one of the best defending teams. Not necessarily when they have to sit back, but even like I said earlier in my submission, even when they have the ball, what they are thinking about is what they do when they lose it. So if you need a team to produce 90 minutes of good defensive show,
Harambo,
it could be Arsenal. And Arsenal do not need to necessarily win the game. Even if they lose the game I think Real Madrid will win at the Bernabeu. As to whether that result, that win is good enough to take the game to extra time or take them through, it's another conversation. I don't think Arsenal will lose those 3 goals, but it's really tough. I never really bet against Real Madrid, but I think this mountain is too high for them to climb.
Okay.
And I think Arsenal will go through in the end, even though I think Real Madrid will win at the Bernabeu.
Daniel. What's all
See, against any team, I'll say it's over. If it's against Bayern, against Barca, against PSG, I'll say it's over.
I wish that you see that goal line clearance and then the double save from. I wish it was 4-0.
Which of the goal line clearance? The Alaba
second
one
half.
or the Bellingham one?
Yeah, the second half one.
Bellingham.
I really wish it was 4. Because look, 3 goals looks plenty. And I'll tell you why I'm skeptical. First of all, obviously, it's Real Madrid. And it's the Champions League. One moment can change everything. And it has happened before. It has happened to me personally before. Although it's a quite different circumstances. Yeah. So, it was the 2019 season.
The City game?
No, 2019. So, I was supporting Barcelona in the first leg. 2 teams that I like their tiers. Yeah. Barcelona, Liverpool. So I wanted Barca to win. And I cheered the Messi goals. That free kick was fantastic. But when Dembele missed that last chance, I was just thinking to myself, he should have scored.
Yeah.
Because 3-0.
The Liverpool game, yeah?
Yeah.
Anfield.
3-0 some way. And then the second leg, you just knew that if Liverpool scored an early goal, it becomes a problem. Because early goal, 1 goal in the first 10 minutes, now it's just 2-0. You are just leading 2-0. And it means the next goal in the game is, now the opposition game plan is thrown out of the window. They don't know whether to defend or whether to attack. And the same thing happened. Second leg, we start, Origi scored, I think, after 6 minutes. And all of a sudden, the game was open. You didn't know what was going to happen next. And look at when Liverpool scored their 3 goals in the second half. It was in the space of, I think, 15 minutes. Yeah. They scored 3 goals. So there are 2 goals from Wijnaldum and then the last one from Origi. And then that was it. And you see, even at 4-0, the game wasn't over. Barca just needed 1 more goal.
They didn't just have the energy and
they were deflated. Yes. And you see, that's what second legs like this can do. Like, we could be there first 10 minutes, pine, Mbappe score or Vinicius score. At the time, you say, look, Real Madrid may not even need to score. First 5 minutes, hit bar 1, ping, make then Vinicius will do his thing. No, hey, that's it. And you see, I'm afraid because I don't think Arsenal haven't faced this. They've not been here before. This particular team, they've not been here before, and I'm afraid they may crumble tactically in terms of profile, in terms of plans.
So last season's defeat against Bayern doesn't count.
No, it doesn't. Last season's defeat.
No, it was Fala.
It was Fala. Second leg they lost 1-0. That was
this one. You have qualified though. Arsenal have got 1 leg.
This one you have a lead to protect, a very healthy lead to protect.
You know what I fear for Arsenal? It's not the aura or any of those things. Though. It is the strange things that happen when teams face Madrid. The ones that will piss you off to the point where you lose your head.
Some penalty.
Some
foul that shouldn't be a foul.
Some red
own goal. Some VAR.
Some corner that shouldn't have been a corner.
So those decisions, if none of those things happen,
they will happen.
This is Champions League. This is Champions League. Look, I'm afraid, but look, it's 2 things I'm saying. In terms of moments and the sum and everything around Champions League, it's very possible for Madrid to do it. But if we are talking strictly football, tactics against tactics, player against player, Arsenal have the perfect team to be able to diffuse whatever Madrid will bring. And I'm really, really hoping that happens. And I think I side with you. I think Madrid will win the second leg, but I don't think it will be enough for them to qualify. So, see you in the semi-finals.
Okay. All I'm going to say is, if funny things don't happen, there is no way Madrid are qualifying. You see the Julian Alvarez thing. some VAR, some red card. Remember the Buffon incidents? The one at the one Ronaldo scored the free kick.
But it was a penalty.
If those things don't happen, forget it. Let's take some of your messages. Thomas Partey won the La Liga title. He was part of the Atletico Madrid team that won the title in 2020-21. 21
was on loan at Almeria.
No, 2020-21. He wasn't part. He joined Arsenal in 2020.
2020-21. No. The 2012. That one he had at Almeria.
Yeah.
That one he was at Arsenal.
Yeah. So that has to be it. Good afternoon, Nacho. On Tuesday, when I saw Sicho's post about Rodrigo of the Arsenal versus Madrid game, I burst into laughter. A few clutch moments in the UCL have deceived a lot of people into thinking he's an elite player. He's not. He's never scored more than 10 league goals in his career. Anyway, big shouts to Daniel for... Are you sure about that? Big shouts to Daniel for seeing the vision and understanding that football is played with proper tactics on the pitch and not with big names. Kweku from Kofoidia.
Arsenal fan.
Karim, I beg, check for me. The stat about Rodrigo, it sounds too good to be true. That he's never scored 10 goals in his career before.
No, it says he's never scored 10 league goals.
10 league goals. Even still. Time for an
No,
apology.
it's possible.
It's possible.
But
Very possible.
Rodrigo doesn't have to score goals to show that it's a baller. Now, Zidane, on how many goals was he scoring in a if you want to go into that thing, some players, I'll dirty them. Muzizu no.
He take 3 goals, win Ballon d'Or.
Zizu.
Take 3 goals the whole season. Win Ballon
Bro,
d'Or.
let's not even go there into what makes a player a good player.
Let me get through the rest of the messages. Time for an apology to Arsenal. I remember the abuse Mikel Merino received from you folks in the studio some weeks ago when Arteta decided to use him as a striker. Talking football doesn't mean you know the game. Hey, Charlie. Now, the thing is, you people won't forgive us if we fail to win this year's Champions League. A group of haters of Arsenal. Godwin from North Kanishi. Godwin, we thank you for your message. Why? But nobody hates Arsenal. The fact that we don't support your team does not mean that we hate Arsenal. It was just Arsenal's day. They didn't overplay Real Madrid. 2 terrific strikes from Rice and 17 minutes of 3 goals did a trick. Arsenal hasn't played like this before and are also fortunate to meet a not so good Madrid team this year. This year hasn't been good structurally and balanced. Lots of injuries, but Madrid don't give such excuses. A few chances for Madrid were also not taken. Vini, Mbappe, Rudiger, etc. Alaba was a no-no. Shouldn't have started. Much rusty and coming out of injury. Valverde's wrong positioning. Tchouaméni was out. Coach should have trusted Vasquez and put... Charlie, it'd be like he has deciphered Real Madrid's problems for that game in one text and says, Coach should have trusted Vasquez and put Valverde on the right midfield to support him. Play Fran Garcia in the absence of Mendy. Few thoughts. Arsenal scored 3 in 17. Tall order, but Madrid have 90 minutes at the Bernabeu. Remontada loading. Sam from Tabora. Thank you, Sam, for your message. Arteta just learned from Barca's 4-0 win in the first Clásico this season. Kojo in Adenta. You underrated Barca, Sicho, in the first Clásico, and you are overrating Madrid again. He says you underrated Barca in the first Clásico and you are overrating Madrid again.
I've never underrated Barca before. I said Madrid will win. I said Madrid was going to win. Doesn't mean I underrated Barca. You can underrate Barca.
That's his interpretation.
Okay, then
but,
please.
Danny, the current Barcelona team, are they the best team in Europe now?
The ball and they play. Have you seen somebody play anything better? What kind of question is that? The ball Barcelona is playing this season. Have you seen any team play better football this season? Hey, look, Barca can beat anybody. Like, they scare me when I watch. See the game that I've watched, the Clásico self, you know, make a feel like that. The Valencia game, like last month or 2 months, the one they score like 6 first half plus like 2 disallowed goals. You the joke. You the joke. And see, the thing, I like the fact that individual players are doing really well. But it's not even player dependent though. If Lewandowski no play and Ferran Torres please, it's the same thing. Just go say Ferran Torres no was son. He doesn't know how to score. So instead of 7-0, they will win 3-0 or 4-0. The start of the season, the holding midfielder, Marc Bernard, the guy after like 2-3 games, balling. ACL, Casado came in, same level. Baller. Casado hit. Next, baller. Like, the season started, Frankie de Jong was sitting on the bed. If Frankie de Jong enter the, baller. Dani Olmo they play the 10. Dani Olmo hit. Femi, baller. See.
So they are the best team in Europe. Let me give you a stat that will blow your mind. Barcelona have scored 4+ goals on 36 different occasions this season.
It will score you.
4+. Think
No,
of
but
it.
it's not. It's
36 different matches. Barca have scored a minimum of 4 goals.
Yeah.
They've scored 7 goals in 2 different matches. They've scored 6 goals in 2 different matches. On 11 occasions, they've won by a 5-goal margin.
Hey.
On 21 occasions, they've won by a 4-goal margin.
Yeah, and that reads like a Hansi Flick team.
Charlie?
Yeah.
That reads like a Hansi Flick team. Like I've always rated that guy.
Look, not to cut you, that COVID Champions League season,
Yeah.
Europe is lucky.
Yeah.
From the quarterfinals to they didn't play 2 legs.
Yeah, if they play 2 late, that would have had some of the worst
Hey,
aggregates.
the 8-2 they gave Barcelona.
Like it go be like 16-1, 16-3.
Look them,
Yeah.
It was the same guy.
What's the
No,
same
Hansi
guy?
Flick. No, that's Hansi Flick.
He's
Hansi
a
Flick's
wicked,
team,
but he's a wicked
they
man.
create
squad?
chances.
Yes,
They create chances for fun.
And they score at will.
against
Like,
any type of
And
defense.
the thing about them is, when they score the 5th, they are chasing the 6th.
Yeah.
When they score the 6th, they are chasing the 7th. It's a new 2 no machine no major.
There be.
Even after the 5th, they want more.
Now they are in the of the teams in the running for a treble. It looks like they are pulling away from everyone else with each passing week. How feasible is that?
No, it's very feasible. It really is. Look, they've beaten Real Madrid twice this season. They'll play them again once in the league and in the cup final. At the moment, they are looking favourites. But again, in cup finals, it's Real Madrid. You can't just say because they beat them twice this season, they'll beat them again. But they are favourites. And from what we've seen, they are likely to win the cup. And again, from the league, it's theirs to lose now.
Yeah.
And they've got the quality to sustain the lead and go on and win it. And in the Champions, they are increasingly looking like the team to beat. Look, they had a very, very good league phase, and then they've added the knockout stages to really playing some fabulous football. But it's what makes it even more impressive for me are the challenges this team the coach has had to work with. Because to be fair, he hasn't had the luxury of signings.
Yeah.
The only player who they brought in who is off, of course, Barcelona signed our Ghanaian brothers from here, so you can't say Barcelona inside. But that was for Barca B. It's Barca. The only notable player would be Olmo
And Inigo, man.
and Inigo Martinez. But even for Olmo, today he will play. Tomorrow he's not registered. Today, court says this. But when you look at the job Hansi Flick has done on the team, it's impressive. Because he has improved Rafinha. For me, even Pedri is playing better.
I'm telling you.
For me, even Pedri, Alejandro Balde has always had he's always looked like he has all the makings of a good left back. But under this manager, different baller. Kubasi showed us the signs that he is great. This season, he settled it that Onimbo, he's elite. Casado came into them. Look, he is coaching. And the thing about the job he's doing is, we know Barcelona like their culture of the tiki-taka and everything. But what he has done is to mix that with excitement.
With his German style.
Yes.
There's urgency to it.
It's exciting.
Some directness to the
It's not
tiki-taka.
boring, it's not slow. It's exciting. It's captivating. It puts you on the edge of your seat. Like Barca are winning 3-0, but you're still on the edge of your seat because they are balling. Right?
You know the most impressive thing for me? What his line of education, right? How he sees football is a complete opposite of what they teach at Barca.
Yeah.
Especially if you look at the fact that he's using players who are fresh from the academy and all they know is what they've been taught at La Masia. Yet he's been able to coach them to, within a matter of months, execute his football to the levels that perhaps we haven't seen.
But the credit to him is he's not ditched the Barca tradition.
No, he hasn't.
He's fused it into his style.
Yeah.
And it is working to a treat. So for me, I think Barcelona are the team to beat in the Champions League now. For me, they've gone through, they'll qualify, they'll beat Dortmund. Like, if Dortmund joke, they'll take another 6. Because the pitch is even better than the one they have at the Montjuic.
Oh, they've already given them 5.
Yes, at the Montjuic. So at Signal Iduna, they can give them 6.
On a better pitch.
On a better pitch.
Quick.
Yeah.
You do the pitch for us.
And
don't
he's
we
done
come?
all of this playing away from home.
Yeah.
Last season, some of the excuses Barca, even the players were giving was that the atmosphere is not the same. The stadium is not always full. They don't feel the Barca vibe. You know, around this time of the season, they should have been back at the camp now.
Yeah.
That was the plan, but it's delayed. They don't get those, so some way. But he's managed to make that place home. Right now, the stadium is full. Right now, the atmosphere is bouncing because of the brand of football and the results. Actually, you are celebrating on the average 4.5 goals every game. How can the stadium be quiet? Like, think about it. Every home game you go, you are celebrating four minimum,
at least
minimum 4. You are celebrating 4 times. So yeah, credit to Barcelona, they are balling and they seem to beat.
One other team that has excited many.
Charlie, actually, before your one other team.
Yeah.
Charlie, my boss Simeone.
Yeah.
He scored 4 against Barca. He's still no win.
He's still no win. Yeah.
He did 2-0
2-0
with 20 minutes to go. We still no win.
Still.
See,
problem.
Next level.
You don't know. When it happens to you, understand.
Yeah.
See, I said the game they beat Madrid 5-2. The one
Final.
Mbappe scored.
Yeah, the final. The Super Cup.
The Super Cup, no. That Madrid performance, every team will lose apart from that Barca team. I'm telling you. Or maybe City of 2 years ago. Madrid were not that bad, oh.
They made them bad.
Then Mbappe played giddy oh. But
into that match, he wastes chances. Like
what chances? How many?
See, no, you are talking about the first one they met in the leg. No, I'm talking about the cup final.
The 5-2, yes.
The 5-2, with the chances he missed, there were not any chances you see.
But you see, so for your average striker, it's not a clear-cut chance. But for someone like Mbappe,
how many?
He didn't misplace you.
No, there were 2.
See,
if you add those 2, how many? You know, 5-4.
Bro,
why they talk like Barca to no miss chance? You see, that's
the thing. That's why they miss plenty.
They miss plenty.
That's true. So one other team that a lot of people have been impressed by, maybe not to the levels of Barcelona, has to be Inter Milan. And Daniel, progress. So he won the league. They didn't give him a big paycheck to go out and spend big money. I think he took them to the Champions League final 2 seasons ago. But Simone Inzaghi is beginning to show he's a proper specialist when it comes to the knockout competitions.
Yeah, he had won the cup before he came to.
He had won every cup in Italy before he came to Inter.
As for cups, there.
He's a solid guy. One of something that Mourinho used to know how to do. I miss that guy, but he could be.
These days, he does more fighting than coaching, Mourinho.
No, but he needs to fight because that place, if you don't fight, they will bully you. For punch the guy in the eyes. The referee for give out something. See, but I'm shouting. But these people, listeners, if you can hear me, I'm okay. If you Karim, you can't hear me. You are not my target audience. Achu, I'm looking forward to that Barca Inter game. Yes, I've cleared
already.
Teams. Bayern, they no reach. Dortmund, they no. Maybe 2 German teams. Oh my son. But it's really important. Look, I think Inter are the closest team in Europe. When I look at their style, when I look at their shape, when I look at their philosophy, I think they are the closest to being able to stop this Barca team. So yeah, some antidotes be like that. I think they can do it, but there are still some holes. But look, Inzaghi is doing a super job. You mentioned the fact that he won the league, they didn't give him a big pay. Now, since when has Inter started giving big Italian football? They don't give big pay. It's normal. Like for you to go out and get Thuram, for you to go out and get Zelinski, it's fantastic business. And they are really good players that he has in his team. What I love about their team is the quality they have all around. And you can see when you consistently chop and change players, yet the system and their performances remain the same. It just shows you the level of the coaching. It's not player dependent. They don't need Thuram to start a game for them to do, or they don't need Lautaro Martinez to be in the game for us to see a certain level. And that is just testament to the coaching that Inzaghi has done. Those 2 legs against Barcelona will be very interesting to watch because, again, we've mentioned that he's a specialist in cups. He knows that he will not walk into that game, those 2 games against Barca, and try and impose any philosophy. No, he's going to adapt, and he's had time the whole season to think and plot against this Barcelona team. So it's something I'm really looking forward to. But again, when I take my mind back to what I saw between Inter and Arsenal, you compare the way philosophically Arsenal set up and the way Barcelona set up, it's kind of similar. Obviously, Barcelona have a lot more energy and a lot more running. But in terms of the shape, it's kind of similar. And what I saw Arsenal do against Inter, it was just a lack of quality up front. Arsenal should have scored. In fact, they should have won that game, in my opinion. Inter won via a penalty. If you look at the chances, you look at the XG, Inter really didn't threaten Arsenal. It was someone who had a good game. Havertz was missing some chances I just didn't understand. But when you look at the fact that Arsenal shape, which is similar to the Barcelona shape, was able to plug holes within the Inter system, and then you add the fact that there's a bit more, there are about 2 extra runners Barcelona have arriving in the box. Their passing is quicker, their movement is quicker. Charlie, the thing, look, if Barcelona don't win, it will not be because they've been outplayed. It will be because of poor finishing or somebody just some bad mistake or something. But look, this Barca team are that good, though. Like they are that good, and I think the reason why people haven't embraced them or opened their minds to the fact that they don't have that killer star player, they don't have a superstar in the team. That's the only reason why. Because if they had a big name, look.
Anyway, that's for the Champions League conversation.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Just a second there.
Louis Enrique. That doesn't like Louis Enrique. Doesn't want to talk about it.
Now, every single day, you have the key to unlock different spins on Mega Money Wheel, where you stand a chance to win massive on Betway. So what are you waiting for? Log in to betway.com.gh today and take your spin, all thanks to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. It is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Now, Joy News proudly presents the top 10 impact makers, our extraordinary individuals transforming communities through education, health, girl-child empowerment, and innovation. So from after-school programs in Kiseman to mental health advocacy in the Ashanti region through to solar in the Upper West region, clean water projects, inclusive education, women's empowerment, and more. These are the true agents of change in marginalized communities across the country. And that's why you need to catch their inspiring stories on Joy News as we honor the selfless individuals reshaping lives one step at a time. The Joy News Impact Makers Awards is brought to you by the McDonald Foundation, empowering futures, building communities. Gold Key Properties, transforming the landscape. MNC Group Global, totally reliant. German Ozone Medical Center, alternative therapy, dental wellness, and beauty. And Latex Foam, your partner for life. The Joy News Impact Makers Awards, celebrating ordinary people making extraordinary impacts. Now, we've all been there. You've placed that perfect multi-bet and it's all going your way until it's not. And one or more picks let you down. Well, with Betway's Bet Saver feature, you can win. Even if your bet misses, even on the multiple losses, you can get your bet back and more. Bet Saver is exclusive to Betway. Get way more. Terms and conditions apply. It is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bets the responsible way. Betway, get way more. Now, every year, thousands of Ghanaians' brightest minds leave in search of better opportunities, creating a gap in our workforce. The critical question is this: how do we motivate these talented individuals to stay and drive Ghana's much-needed economic transformation? How do we inspire them to build a future here? The time to act is now. So join David Ofosudote, Senior Partner at AB and David Africa, Professor Mary Setrana from the Center for Migration at University of Ghana, and Abna Amoa, Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange and former President of the Mauritius, His Excellency Dr. Amina Gurib Fakim, the 12th edition of the Ishmael Yamson and Associates Business Roundtable event. Together, they will explore the theme Managing the Talent Exodus, leveraging private-public partnerships for growth. And that's happening on the 7th of May at the Palms by Eagles Airport City at 9 a.m. You need to be part of this transformational conversation on Ghana's future. To register, text your name and organization to 053 011 7202 or email us info@ieyamson.com. ieyamson.com. That's the email address. So do also send your details there. We're going to have a brief conversation. On the University of Ghana Corporate Football League that goes into the 9th week tomorrow, and we'll take a break for 2 weeks and resume on Friday the 2nd of May. To help us have that conversation is Dr. Austin Lugutera of the University of Ghana. Unfortunately, okay, we do not have him yet. But Sicho, we cannot finish this without a word or two on what Lucho is doing for PSG. They blew away Aston Villa with another dominant performance, 3-0. 3-1 and finished.
Yeah, for me, it's the cultural change. It's the cultural change for me. I think that he has changed the way we look at PSG now. We are not looking for a superstar. We are looking at a team. PSG are very hated across Europe, across the world. Not many teams like them. Not many fans like PSG. But what he's done is now to take that whole superstar-ish thing around them, and he's built a team where they work together as a unit. And for me, they are playing very well, and they've got some great individuals who can head teams. I thought Aston Villa were unlucky, especially with the third goal they conceded, because at 2-1 at the Villa Park, that is still closed. Anything could happen. But that third goal did make it a bit more difficult. But what I like about this PSG team is they were in the semi-final last season. They are almost to the semi-final this season. That is massive work in progress. I don't think PSG have been in back-to-back semi-finals since the Qataris took over, have they?
Oh, no, semi-finals.
Back-to-back semi-finals.
Yeah, they have.
They went to the
final. Have. Then Messi came and everything cast. They made the final, then they made the semi-final the following. If you remember, they lost to Man City. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you look at how they are playing now, I mean, it's exciting. And some of the players they brought through, it's not like they're not paying money. They are paying big money still.
Yeah.
Kvaratskhelia is not cheap. He came in for a lot of money.
60 million euros.
Joao Neves wasn't cheap. He came in for a lot of money. So they are still buying players, very good players, but they are all fitting the new culture, the new system. And again, they are look, the way PSG plays is not very, very different from how Barcelona plays. The difference really is how their front three operate. Whereas Barcelona have a centre forward who is a centre forward, not doing any false nine things. PSG have a front three that are flexible to move across. Yeah. But when you look at how their midfield plays, how they keep the ball, the energy they have, and how good their back line is on the ball, the similarities are there.
That goal by Desiree Doué.
Ooh, special. And it's proving to be a really special kid for them. They've got many players who, Zaire Emery's on the bench. He can come in and do a job. They've got Bakola who was on the bench. He can come in and do a job. If they need a striker, they've got Gonzalo Ramos on the bench. So they have a very good unit. And it's one of the teams that people can't overlook. Nobody really can overlook them. When they get into the semi-final, they could go all the way.
Thank you very much, Sicho, and to you, Daniel, as well, for joining us on Game Plan today. At least we've done very well. We've stuck to time, close a minute before the show. We're back tomorrow on Joy Prime with Prime Sports Extra. Until then, take good care of yourself and bye-bye.
Outsiders.